It's 4:30 and this is WKYT This Morning. Donald Trump formally accepts the Republican nomination for president. We're covering the campaign straight ahead. Also, a Lexington neighborhood is in shock after a gruesome crime. Police found a body in a dumpster. We'll have the latest on the investigation into that coming up. And friends and family held a prayer vigil for 3 young people who died in a crash in Boyle County. We'll see how they're being remembered. All that and your weekend weather on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. So good to have you with us on WKYT bright and early on your Friday. I'm Bill Bryant. We'll have a lot of news for you in just a moment. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris, talking about the heat continuing and some storms rolling in.
That's exactly right. Finally, we're adding in the addition of thunderstorms in the forecast, and that's going to be for today and off towards your weekend. Now, let me tell you, none of these are washouts. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, definitely not a washout, but a couple of rumbles cannot be ruled out. There's a system to the north of us, and if you watch the movement, it actually takes it down toward Owensboro and back toward the western areas of Kentucky. But there's still pieces of energy heading our direction, and as it gets into the state of Kentucky, it'll more than likely be right there in the late morning, early afternoon hours, and that's going to give us the opportunity to get a couple of rumbles of thunder going. So storm or two is possible. Still very warm, though, at 92 degrees. We're going over to your weekend forecast coming up.
Okay, see you shortly. In the news, presidential nominee Donald Trump took the stage at the Republican National Convention last night to formally accept the party's nomination. His speech also touched on the economy and national security, and it included attacks on Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Craig Boswell has the latest on the campaign.
I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States.
Donald Trump is promising to tell it like it is and put America first if he becomes the next president of the United States.
We cannot afford to be so politically correct anymore.
Trump says he'll start increasing the nation's security on day one.
My plan will begin with safety at home, which means safe neighborhoods, secure borders, and protection from terrorism. There can be no prosperity without law and order.
The billionaire businessman is trying to reassure Republicans who are on the fence. He also reached out to Bernie Sanders supporters and slammed Hillary Clinton.
Her bad instincts and her bad judgment, something pointed out by Bernie Sanders, are what caused so many of the disasters unfolding today.
Trump's daughter, Ivanka, introduced her father and addressed his perception problems head on.
He recognizes real knowledge and skill when he finds it. He is colorblind and gender neutral.
With the party over, Trump and Pence will now crisscross the country as they take on the Democratic ticket. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Cleveland.
And Kentucky's delegation at the Republican National Convention says despite some challenges this week, the party is unified and they're supporting Donald Trump. 5th District Congressman Hal Rogers said he believes Trump can bridge the divide between Congress and the White House.
I think he will be a strong leader. I think he understands the role of Congress and the Constitution. So I'm looking for a big change for the better.
Governor Matt Bevin and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell are among the other Kentucky Republicans who are at the convention. Democrats will gather for their national convention in Philadelphia next week, and presidential candidate Hillary Clinton could announce her running mate today. According to the Associated Press, 2 Democratic sources say that Virginia Senator Tim Kaine has emerged as the leading contender. But they also say Clinton has not yet made a final decision. And sources also say that Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack is still in the mix. A Lexington neighborhood is in shock this morning after a gruesome crime happened there. Police have arrested a man who they say killed a woman and dismembered her body. Court records show the suspect, Patrick Jones, and the victim, Haley Bourgeois, had a rocky relationship. Police say they found the victim's body in dumpsters along Malibu Drive. Monique Blair talked to some of the couple's neighbors.
Detectives everywhere, police everywhere, didn't really know what was going on. Faye Ivy has lived on Malibu Drive for 26 years. She says what happened outside her home Thursday morning was unlike anything she's ever seen.
I was upset that something like that would happen so close to home.
20-year-old Haley Bourgeois' body was found mutilated, and parts of her body were found in these two blue dumpsters behind the Malibu Manor apartment complex.
I just wonder what kind of person it takes to dismember a body like that.
Thursday afternoon, 24-year-old Patrick Ryan Jones was arrested for murder, tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Court records show Jones and Bourgeois share at least one child together. Documents also show Jones and Bourgeois each filed emergency protective orders against each other last year, citing domestic and interpersonal violence. But then within 2 months, each dropped their EPO against one another. Police believe Jones got into an argument with Bourgeois on Wednesday night and used a blunt object to kill her.
My grandson told me that, and my daughter said that they fought a lot. They could hear them fighting up there.
This evening, Ivy says a woman who she believes was related to Bourgeois came by the crime scene.
She had 2 children with her, and she was in tears, just really bad, you know.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Now, in May of 2015, Jones was charged with 2 felony theft charges and 4 misdemeanors, among them theft of more than $10,000 and carrying a concealed deadly weapon. Friends and family held a prayer vigil for 3 young people who died in a crash in Boyle County. Police say a car hit a stone fence and then burst into flames at the intersection of Highway 33 and Faulkner Lane, that's north of Danville. The 3 people killed, Matt Darland and Brianna Kaufman, as well as Jacob Frick, were all from Harrodsburg. Our Garrett Weimer shows us how they're being remembered.
The stone fence here is reduced to rubble, but this family is truly in pieces.
And I feel like I've been stomped in the chest right now.
A couple hundred gathered where their friends lost their lives. Cars lined the highway in every direction, and the crowd spilled over onto the road.
We are at our lowest moment, and we are completely weak and completely helpless. But Lord, we know that you are here with us.
Sending messages skyward on balloons, the emotions still so raw for so many.
It's going to be hard. It's really, really going to be hard. But with the grace of God, I mean, everything happens for a reason, and we might not know why. We never will know why. But one day when we see him again, we'll understand, and those will be the days that we'll cherish forever.
Friends and family say they were even shocked by how many people came out to pay tribute.
I didn't realize how many people have been blessed and gotten the privilege to know Brianna and Jacob and Matt the way that we all did.
They prayed together, told stories, and sang songs. But more than that, they hugged, held each other, simply gave a shoulder to cry on.
We're going to get through it. Absolutely going to get through it.
Their memories and each other, now all they have to hold on to. In Boyle County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And police say that Trevor Thompson survived the crash. They say a man on his way to work rescued him from the burning car. In Frankfort, the community marched with police officers in a show of support and a call for peace and unity. That unity march was organized after deadly shootings targeting police around the country. Officer Don took this video of the march from Sky First, you see there at the Capitol. It ended at the state capitol. Sabira Rayford talked to some people who took part.
It hasn't been long since a gunman ambushed a rally and took 5 officers' lives in Dallas, and then less than 2 weeks later, 3 more officers were targeted and killed in Baton Rouge. Today, dozens of people marched to the state capitol to show unity.
We as a community must do everything we can to bridge the gap and end the violence.
Marchers filled the streets with one goal.
And this is an act to show that we're willing to come together despite any background, any difference among us, that we're walking together and we stand together against any type of ignorance.
Margaret Felix is a former service member, and she says events like this are important so the community can interact with law enforcement.
You know, it's better to have that interaction, that communication. It's easier to come up to a friend and ask them what's going on than someone you don't know, and I think that helps with a lot of the community relations.
Several different speakers from different backgrounds spoke on the steps of the Capitol about unity, including former UK football player and current State Labor Secretary Derek Ramsey.
Today, I want you to know when it comes to Derek Ramsey, we aren't heroes. You guys are. All of you uniforms.
In Frankfort, Sabira Rayford, WKYT.
Now, the mayor of Baton Rouge found out about the march and said that he is thankful for the support from here in Kentucky. Our time this morning is 4:40. WKYT this morning is just getting started. Sometimes women steer clear of weightlifting, but coming up, we'll look at a classic move that is great for moms who are working out. That's ahead.
And we're looking at steamy and stormy conditions in the forecast. We're going to go through that in your weekend coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Well, we have a heat advisory for portions of our viewing area, and that's an area that we're going to be seeing some rain for today. You look down towards 65, work your way down 68 through Washington, Marion, Taylor County, Adair County. And that goes until Saturday at 8 p.m. So that heat advisory is with us for some portion of our viewing area. Then you work northbound anywhere along the AA highway. That does include Mount Olivet there in Robertson County. That's not actually the AA highway, but it's included into that area. And then work your way back toward Henry, Owen, Grant, those areas through Saturday. Could these be pushed over toward the east? Yes, and I do expect at least some areas a little bit farther toward the east to actually pick up on those heat advisories, because we're looking at those heat index values right around 100 degrees. Defender Radar Network, nothing going on this morning. But you look northbound, and there is a storm complex heading at least toward the direction of Kentucky. Not so much in our viewing area. I will tell you this, the movement takes it toward Owensboro. But there will still be energy around, and you throw a lot of heat, a lot of moisture into the forecast, and you're talking about the possibility of sparking up a couple of rumbles of thunder. So we just got to keep in mind that we do have a couple of rumbles today, but also that's going to cool us off if you get under one of those. So there is a positive out of that. And that'll take you into your afternoon off into the evening hours. 92 degrees in the forecast for today, just like yesterday. Yesterday we actually reached 93 here in Lexington. Virtually all of us were in the lower 90s yesterday, and it looks like we're going to be that way for the weekend too. Unless you get under a rumble of thunder, yeah, you're going to be there in the lower 90s, and not only that, but the heat index near 100 degrees. We've talked about this heat for quite some time. It's here, and it's going to last all the way, not just through the weekend, but it looks like into early next week. So here's the breakdown of the forecast. These aren't great chances of rain the next few days, but they're enough to talk about. I mean, we're talking 30–40%. So they're hit and miss. Not everybody will see the rain. It's one of those times that, you know, you just get one here and the other place, you're not seeing anything. So if you get under the rain, it's going to help you out big time. If you do not, you're talking feeling like 100 degrees in toward your afternoon. And that goes for the next 3 to 4 days.
Can you blame it on the rain?
Toward that. No, you can't blame it on the rain. I see where you're going there, but the rain will help us big time. I'm kind of crossing my fingers, hoping for the rain.
Milli Vanilli is going to get you for that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
4:46 our time this morning. Working out regularly has plenty of health benefits.
If you're looking to alleviate some lower back stress, today's Mom's Everyday Minute shows you how.
Fitness guru Erica White is here, and she says we women should be doing deadlifts. Why is that, Erica?
Moms and Rebecca, this is great for women's pelvic health. And the other thing, it helps alleviate and take some of that stress off the lower back.
Okay, so start it out for us. What's our stance? Is about hip width?
Shoulder width apart.
Shoulder width apart.
With this,
okay.
Yes. And what you want to do is come down, grabbing one hand forward, one hand to the back. This is actually called a mixed grip. Coming up, as I come up, keeping a slight bend in my knees, squeezing back just slightly. Again, I'm not putting any rounding in my back. I'm keeping it nice and flat and keeping that slight bend in my knees.
So you keep control. This is an 18-pound bar. You can start with very light weights. Again, flat back, nice controlled motion.
Squeeze at the top. Give me that extra squeeze.
I love it. All right, for this and more exercise tips, visit momseveryday.com. For Moms Every Day, I'm Rebecca Rainier.
For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com, click on Moms Every Day.
And it's 4:47 on WKYT this morning. We're back with so much more. It's your Friday.
In eastern Kentucky, police say burglars stole thousands of dollars worth of equipment that belongs to a small Harlan County city. We'll have details on the investigation into this when we come back.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
And good morning again. Good to have you with us on WKYT. July 22nd, your Friday at 4:50. And we've learned that a Madison County toddler has died days after being found unresponsive in a pool.
The Fayette County Coroner's Office says a 2-year-old boy died at Kentucky Children's Hospital. His name has not been released. Investigators say that boy fell into a pool near a home on Brandy Lane in Richmond on Saturday. The coroner says the death is being investigated as an accidental drowning. In eastern Kentucky, burglars stole thousands of dollars worth of equipment that belongs to a small Harlan County city. Investigators say early Wednesday morning, the thieves broke into the maintenance department at Lynch City Hall and stole leaf blowers, chainsaws, weed eaters, and water meters. Even with insurance, the mayor of Lynch says the burglary could cost the city about $2,500.
Talking about the poor robbing the poor. That's what happens. It's in a small town like this, a $2,500 loss is a lot of money.
So far, police haven't made any arrests for the burglary. Investigators say this was the second break-in at the maintenance department in the last year.
Police are looking for a man who they say is behind a string of robberies. State police say it all started with a home invasion in Owsley County. They say the robber stole a car from the home but was later involved in an injury accident on Highway 1503. Police say the man then stole a second car and drove off again. They say they later found that car in Clay County after the man stole a third car. At last check, police have not found the suspect. A jury has reached a verdict in the trial of a Lexington man accused of killing his boyfriend. The Herald Leader reports after 7 hours of deliberations, the jury found Matthew Donahue guilty of second-degree manslaughter. He had been charged with murder. Police say Donahue stabbed Todd Schumacher last year at the couple's home. The jury has recommended a 10-year sentence.
Roger Ailes has resigned as chief executive of Fox News Channel and Fox Business. This comes 2 weeks after former news anchor Gretchen Carlson filed a lawsuit accusing Ailes of sabotaging her career because she refused his suggestions for sex. Ailes has denied the claim. 21st Century Fox says Rupert Murdoch will take over the role of chief executive of the two channels until a replacement is named.
A Pike County church has a mess to clean up after a car crashed into the building. It happened at the Jesus Way Church on US 119 in Belfry. Police are still trying to figure out what led up to the crash, but church leaders say the driver was actually on her way to help others. 4:53 now on WKYT this morning. In just a moment, we'll be back with a look at some of the stories our news team is working on for you this morning.
We'll also have another look at your morning forecast.
Welcome back in, 4:56 Friday morning here on WKYT.
It's a good day, isn't it? It's a Friday, always good. It's time to take a look right now at some of the stories we are working on for you this morning.
A man who Lexington police say killed a woman and dismembered her body is going to be in court today. Police say they found the victim's body in dumpsters along Malibu Drive. Patrick Jones will be arraigned this afternoon. And coming up, we're looking at the details in the case and what we expect to happen in court today.
Grisly crime, and you know, our weather, it's going to be hot. I mean, there's no other way to really describe it,
you
right?
Get those showers once in a while, it may slightly cool things off, right, Micah?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Finally, we're throwing them into the forecast. It's been hot and humid. I was just sitting outside out of my driveway, let my little man run around, just sitting there watching them, and just was sweating. It was not good. It's very sticky, and that's kind of the sweat you're going to be dealing with again today and towards your weekend. But there could be a nice little saving grace. Look toward the north. There is a storm system heading our way. It's really heading toward western Kentucky, but it'll still throw some energy into our region, which will give us at least the opportunity, a couple of rumbles of thunder. We're going to get into that. I'm going to talk all about that with your weekend forecast. Another 2 hours of WKYT News in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.